Welcome to my studio. Today I'm going to be painting these white hollyhock flowers. So I begin with a wash of my magenta plus liquid. And the centers I'm going to make a deep reddish purple, and that's the magenta. And I just use this wash and go work around a little stamen there. I'm going to put a little bit here. And I have previously painted the stems and hollyhock flower buds and all with combinations of phthalo blue plus cadmium yellow medium plus some white, and then phthalo blue plus cadmium orange. This is more the phthalo blue plus the cadmium orange, and I put a lot of the blue in that mixture to make those stalks go back. These are more of the phthalo blue plus cadmium yellow medium, and the warmth of that brings them forward. So right now though, I'm painting the centers of these flowers, and then this one you just see a little bit, since it's more of a side view. And that little hummingbird is poking his beak in there to get some of that nectar. Now the flowers themselves, the shadow parts, I use mixes of ultramarine blue plus white and dioxazine purple plus white. And that's what I use to make the shadows. Now that wash is still wet, and I want that to kind of pull into my flower here on this back side. That helps make the shadow. The light's coming in from the left, and so this flower is putting a shadow onto this one. And then this is a little lighter mixture of my white plus the dioxazine purple. And then this is my ultramarine blue plus the white. Now this leaf, I've decided I'm going to make this darker so that it shows up against that. And I've saved all of my mixtures from my leaves and background, so if I need to go back in and work anything, I can. And I wipe my brush out continuously. That's the secret to having nice crisp colors on your canvas, is to have a clean brush. And then the top of this, where the sun comes over and hits right up here, then this is going to be pure white. So that gives me a nice white there. And there's going to be a little catch right there. So then as I come down, this gets soften this right here when it comes down on that part. So there's that flower, and I just keep, now again, the sun's coming in from the left, so there's some shadow here on this side. And then this is a lighter, this mixture has a little bit of the ultramarine blue in it. It's not my pure white yet. And I don't mind that my brush is picking up some of that color from the magenta wash. We'll make that work for us. Let me get a little larger brush here. These are called bright brushes. It's got a square end, and I really like them because you can use the broad edge to make a good, nice, big flat, cover a big flat area, or you can use the corner to make smaller strokes. I've really come to love these brushes. That's what I use the majority of. Now I'm bringing in some of my pure white into this. lightly drag that down, and then a little bit here catches some light. Now I come back with my magenta wash on this flower, because those centers kind of have rays coming out. So I just pull from the center outward. And you can see in this one that's finished how that does. I've done the same thing with my orange hollyhocks. They were painted with, these here were painted with combinations of cadmium orange plus alizarin crimson, and then cadmium orange, and then cadmium orange plus white. It's a process of just working back and forth. A little bit of this. Now the center is, this is cadmium yellow medium plus a little bit of orange plus a little bit of my mud. The mud is 2 parts of ultramarine blue plus 1 part of alizarin crimson. That's just a nice deep purple. It helps make that, tones it down a little bit. And then for the highlight where the sun is hitting the end of that stamen, I'm going to use a mixture of my cadmium yellow medium plus lemon yellow. Let me mix that up. Didn't quite have that ready. I can just brace my hand on the side of the canvas and make that little highlight there. Make it just a little bit more, give it a little more texture. So I get a pretty good glob of paint on my brush. Just kind of lay it on there. There we go. All right, let's do this one up here. Let's see, I'll do the one behind first. One behind the hummingbird. I'm going to let, the hummingbird's chest is going to be in shadow, so I'm going to let the sun hit this blossom. And then as it comes down, it's going to be underneath, it's going to be in shadow. Let it come down. And here's mine. I'm going to bring a little bit, just a little kind of a pleat in those petals right there. Just give a little interest. And I want this to be a little bit darker as it goes into the leaves. These leaves start separating out when that bud opens up. A little bit darker right in here. In fact, I'm going to bring a little bit of my magenta right in here to get it a little dark right in there. Change out my tissue. I use lots of tissue as I'm painting, and I wipe my brush constantly, and that roll is out. So let me quick put this on here. I have it hanging from my palette where it's just easy. I can use one hand to get my tissue. All right, let's do this other flower up here. Again, I start doing my shadow in there. Wipe my brush out. This is my oxynene purple plus mostly white, but a little bit of the dioxazine purple. This is some of the ultramarine blue plus white. Then I'll bring my pure white in here. And some of this will hit. There's going to be a little pleat where the petals overlap right there. Just going to throw a little bit of shadow down on this petal right here, this one. They're overlapping. Go ahead and do this one up here. Now this petal, we're seeing the back of it, and so this is dark. This doesn't have any sun hitting it, so that's going to be darker. And when you're even painting white things, you have to make sure to get your shadows dark enough. You can't have light without dark, so you have to get your shadow parts of white objects, flowers, horses, dogs, cats. You have to get the shadow portion dark enough so that the white highlights will stand out. I'm going to start having some, it's going to be a little bit darker down here, but then it's going to get lighter as we come up. I'll have to draw that beak back in there, but this is using my pure white. And now I just go ahead and again bring these rays out from the center using that magenta. And you can see how I use the corner of that brush. Now I'll put the little stamen in. This one you'll see the side of it. So it's deep in here, but then it comes out. Ah, I got that way too low. I need to have it up where the hummingbird is going to be able to get to it. So we'll just take some of our magenta and paint that out. Put the stamen back up here where it needs to be. The hummingbird can get to it. And then we highlight it. Again, I get a pretty good dab of paint on my brush. And that doesn't matter if that's a big glob there. It gives us some texture. And then I add this one. And that's how we paint those white hollyhocks. I really appreciate you watching my YouTube videos. Watch my blog where you can follow the entire complete step-by-step process of this painting. The link is in the description below. It's also on the final frame of my video, the URL address. So you just have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I really appreciate you watching. And please feel free to ask questions in the comments section. So you just have a happy day painting.